How's everybody doing? Probably as pissed off as me. It is Paul from Magpie 24/7. Not in my usual surroundings, but coming to you literally hot off the press after Newcastle went down to Wolves and blew another chance to get the first victory of this season. We're into October and we've gone down to Molineux, and despite Wolves being a very, very bang ordinary average side, Newcastle were even worse, and we've gone down to a 2-1 defeat down in the Midlands. Gutted, absolutely gutted. I think the only fucking positives at the club at the moment is around Carl Darlow's fucking COVID tests. That is the top and bottom of everything to do with the club at the moment. If Steve Bruce had any sort of affinity, any sort of connection, any sort of emotional attachment to this football club at this time, certainly an hour or so after the game, he would and he should have offered his resignation, because it's just as clear as day there's problems left, right and centre. And for all of the good progress made off the pitch earlier in the week, you know, with regards to the cat case and everything, it just feels like trust Steve Bruce to fuck it up, and fuck it up he certainly fucking did. Newcastle really just didn't get going the entire game. We didn't have enough shots. When we went behind, we actually dropped from the 4 at the back, which was very effective against Watford last time out, if not in result but in performance. Newcastle dropped to 5 at the back and really played a defensive brand of football. And it's that old adage that I've said on the podcast umpteen times. At Newcastle, it's okay to lose, just as long as we don't lose by too many. And that is just how it came across today. We've got Bruce coming out after the game, praising other players, you know, praising Wolves are having strikers and depth and quality and, you know, different alternatives. We've got the same old situation with his substitutions. Yes, he was forced into an early one with Jeff Hendrick coming on, who actually scored today, unbelievably. He come on early for Joe Willock, who came off injured. But his substitutions, from a tactical perspective, didn't come until probably too late. Jacob Murphy and Dwight Gale coming on, and to be honest, they did absolutely fuck all to change the course and the flow and the outcome of the game. And Carl was saying, I mean, we've been talking off air, and you know, in previous years I probably would have flown off the handle. I'd be angry and this, that, and the other, but at the moment I'm just so meh about the entire situation, because there's just an inevitability about relegation. And the thing is as well, I've got no confidence in the club in that, you know, last season, what was it, 21 games we went without a win, and he wasn't fired. So if he wasn't fired for 21 failures, why on earth is he going to be fired for the start of the season that we've had? In Mike Ashley's eye, yes, we're second bottom, but we're not too far away from salvation, and we've got teams around about us, and in his eyes that's probably all that he wants to do. But I would plead with anybody at the club, no matter how little money is left in the bank account, whether it means taking a loan out, whether it means a whip round from the fans, you need to spend every last penny you've got, if that's what it takes, to get rid of this man, because it's our only chance at this point. Only chance to me to stand up, because I just can't see where the next win is coming from. Obviously, we want to look into this in more detail on the podcast, which is going to be coming over the weekend, but I just honestly can't see it. We've got Spurs next, and they're in a little bit of a sticky situation, and you might sit there and think, well, Paul, perhaps there's a chance on that one. But just like today, Wolves hadn't scored in the first half. Along came Newcastle, like we did last season, time and time and time again, and we gift teams. We gifted a goal away today. It wasn't through fantastic play or anything like that, to be fair. But we will gift it. It doesn't matter whether Harry Kane's on a bit of a run at the moment in the league. It doesn't matter whether their manager's under pressure. It literally could play the reserves. They could play the kids. They could play all the goalkeepers outfield. It doesn't matter. Newcastle is the gift that keeps on giving under Steve Bruce. We've got all sorts of issues. We had Graham Jones, who started up in the stands, coming down, having a word, trying to get things going a bit more attackingly, like on an attacking sense. Then we've got Steve Bruce changing it to 5 at the back when we started at 4. You've got Isaac Hayden, who is a defensive midfielder, probably playing as an offensive midfielder, then dropping back into one of the right-sided centre-backs. You've got Joe Willock playing deep when that's not his natural position, and there's just so many square pegs and round holes and strange decisions. The run is pathetic. You look at the fixtures that we've had, and we all said at the beginning and in the summer that these fixtures were very, very, very favourable, and yet somehow Newcastle have managed to conspire to shoot themselves in the foot time and time and time again. And now comes a difficult run of games. Like I said, touched on before, we've got Spurs, we've got Chelsea in October, and I can't really see much happening with that. We've obviously got Crystal Palace as well. That's going to be a difficult game, obviously, with Vieira going in there. He's had a little bit of time to be able to change a few things round. That's going to be really, really, difficult. And I cannot honestly see us winning a game realistically until we play Norwich, which I think is the beginning of December. And if that's the case, you've got to say that you've got 1 foot in the Championship already. And like I touched on before, no matter what money we've got left, if it takes every penny that's in the Newcastle bank account at the moment, then we need to get rid of this charlatan, this fraud. I'm surprised for somebody who says he cares so much about the football club, and he's come out with the same tired excuses, he's seen positives, he's going to work at it, blah, blah, blah. You've had 2.5 years at this point, and we are getting worse, and we're playing worse football more often than not. The percentage, the possession is terrible. We can't take fucking set pieces of a toffee, and that was most evident again today. We cannot take free kicks. We cannot take corners. We are woeful and pathetic in that department. And it's just in such an absolute fucking mess. But I think that's something like 7 wins now in 30-something games. 35 games or so. I'm not the exact stat, it's something around about there. But either which way, that is a pathetic set of statistics. And at any other club, he would have been gone absolutely ages ago. Like I said, the man's a pure and utter fraud. He's taking the piss. I mean, his comments about Joe Linton earlier in the week, I thought had actually a decent game today, Joe Linton. But making comments about that he saw him before he came and stuff like this. He literally just opens his mouth and out comes a load of shit. He was Sheffield Wednesday manager, so why were they looking at a £40 million rated player who a Champions League experience? He just talks pure and utter shit. And that's what he's done and said when he's come out of the out of the game, out of the dressing room, and he's just talking about the hard work. And the thing that will also annoy lots of Newcastle supporters, we're now into the international break. It's the perfect time to make a change. 15 days before we play Spurs at St James's Park will be an ideal time to bring somebody in, work with the players and work on the formation and work on the tactics and the set pieces, so on and so forth. That's what Steve Bruce should be doing as well, it must be said. But if you could get somebody in new, you never know, you might stand a fighting chance against a Spurs side who are, although they've got fantastic quality, they aren't in the best of form. They have a new manager in as well. So I can't see it. I can't see Lee Charnley having a set of balls to be able to get rid of him. Steve Bruce no doubt will use the excuse next week of a couple of his players are away on international games, so there's no point in being on the training pitch. He'll give the players some time off, despite the fact I don't really think they deserve it after today's performance. I would have them in. I would have them working every hour of every day to improve the situation, and I'd literally be saying to them, look, it doesn't look fantastic if you're pissing off on holiday, if I'm pissing off on holiday, when the results are absolutely pathetic. To me, if I had a message to Steve Bruce, it would be to go on holiday, go to Portugal, go to everywhere else you want to go, and don't come back, because you are part of the problem. And it would just be so typical that Newcastle get into a situation where we could become one of the richest clubs in the world, but yet we are relegated and we'll be starting life and starting the fight back in the Championship. And it's just no good. Have a look at the fixtures. Tell me when Newcastle are going to pick up the victories. And if we can't beat the likes of Watford, if we can't beat the likes of Burnley, a Wolves side who I think will be down at the bottom end of the table, If we can't beat these, if we can't beat these teams, then fuck me, where are these 7 or 8 victories, at least minimum victories, where are these going to come from? It's a dogfight, and we're playing some of these teams, and we are not putting up any sort of performance, and the players can be unhappy with that. I'm pissed off. I'm unhappy. I'm sick of the same stuff, and I've seen it, and I spoke to Kyle about it. You're beyond anger. You just literally, it is meh. And it's just like, it's standard. It's what you expect. I'm sick and tired of the shit that this club is serving up. Today, once again, with no Wilson, we look toothless up front. I don't think Alan St-Maximin works through the middle. I love the guy. I think he's fantastic. He's talented. He's a match winner, but he's a winger. Up in my newsfeed today popped up a goal that he scored in Europe for Nice. And he's out on the right there, and he's using his tricks and this, that, and the other, and he's getting his shot away. But he's not a focal point. Neither is Miggy as well. And they've tried different variations of stuff. And meanwhile, you're leaving Dwight Gale on and giving him 12 minutes or something like that at the end of the game. It's not enough. The recruitment was shit. The fans warned the club about this. The club refused to listen. It stuck its fingers in its ears. And this relegation will be on Steve Bruce and Lee Charnley. Steve Bruce should never have been appointed in the first place. The run last season, the 21 games or so without a victory, he should have gone for that. And the start of this season, anybody else at any other club, he would be gone. He needs to be gotten rid of as soon as possible, and they need to bring somebody in. And Eddie Howe, anybody out of work, to be honest. We talked about holidays and Steve Bruce pissing off left, right and centre on holiday. Fucking Judith Chalmers would do a better job than Steve Bruce at the fucking tea lady. Anybody would be better than Steve Bruce at the moment, because it's just a poison chalice. He can say what he wants to say, but the players, by and large, there is some exceptions to it, but they're just not playing to the capabilities. They're not becoming better players. Most of them are becoming worse players. There's players bang out of form. And again, scraping around for any sort of small positives at the moment is a difficult job. Yes, we've got Dubravka coming back in to the fold very, very shortly. And I would be tempted to start him if he is fully fit. And he can get some minutes on the training pitch with him. You've got Lascelles coming back. Shelvey, John Joe Shelvey, despite being here what feels like an eternity, not being the best midfielder in the Premier League, not by a long shot, but he walks back into our midfield. He really does. I think we've missed John Joe Shelvey big time, and we've got these players coming back in. I'm hoping and praying that the Joe Willock injury isn't too bad, but he was holding his hip, so we will wait further information on that one. But it would be just typical, wouldn't it? I thought Joe Willock was playing himself back into some form. I thought he was doing decent. After a difficult pre-season where he didn't play much, he's playing catch-up. He was finally looking to get to match sharpness, and he's picked up an injury. And that's just typical Newcastle, but we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves at the end of the day. Newcastle have to find a way, a winning formula, a winning mentality. And I don't think that will be found with 5 at the back. I really, really don't. 5 at the back with 2 holding players. It's too defensive. The percentage stats... the shots on target, it's not enough to cause the opposition goalkeeper to get the kit mucked up, and we've got to be working the opposition more if we want to be scoring goals, if we want to be winning football games. And the defence today, again, it needs looking at, it needs tightening up. You've got a Jamal Lewis when you've got a right midfielder playing at left back and stuff, and it just reeks of issues and problems behind the scenes, and it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and it's just, to me, the worst part is the club will do nothing about it. I'm as sure we can be that Lee Charnley will just say, no, we're looking at a longer term, a bigger picture, and this, that, and the other. But relegation would be absolutely catastrophic, and if this takeover doesn't go through, then I just don't know what of a football club we've got left. It's not a sporting project. It's just there to exist. Nothing else. We're dumped out of the cup. We were dumped out of the cup at the first opportunity. We've got the FA Cup to look forward to, and I use that in the loosest possible terms because it's a competition all the bigger teams, if you want to call them that, will all target and all want to do well in. So it's not something that is going to be easy for Newcastle to do anything. And at the moment, we don't look like scoring more than 1 or 2 goals in any game. We look like we're going to concede every single game, and we don't look like we've got a plan, a thought out process, a set of tactics, a desire, heart, gut. I don't care what you want to call it. I just don't think there's anything really. And to finish off on, we've got this game now, as I touched on earlier on, in 15 days' time against Spurs, and there is going to be literally a cauldron of toxicity and nastiness and pent up just anger and disappointment and we told you so that's going to be coming his way. So he's going to be walking straight slap bang into that. And I don't think you can blame the fans. The fans have been fantastic, and I think every time the players have played, they have had fantastic support from whether it's an away end, whether it's been at St James's Park. They've had that support. They've had the fans behind them. But you need something back. We need victories, and the players can say all the right things, all they want to, all during the week, and that performances are decent and positives and this and that. It's points, not positives at this stage. The Spurs game is going to be absolutely nasty as hell in the air. You can taste it already. And if the aforementioned hammering comes and you lose by a couple of goals, it is again just going to ramp up that little bit more as we just roll on without a win. You know, you're looking at 8 games. Then you're looking at Chelsea and the likes. You could be talking 9, 10 games into the season without a victory already, and you're looking and praying, oh, we need to get to Norwich before we can get a victory. It is too little, too late, I am afraid. And then the games in December come thick and fast. You pick up 1 or 2 injuries. You're playing 4, 5, 6 games in quick succession. You could be down easily by Christmas, and our Christmas fixtures look absolutely fucking awful with Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, and a reunion with Rafa Benitez as well, and Everton, which I am not in the slightest looking forward to. Please, somebody give me some sort of optimism, some route out of it. Things are going to get better. Reassure me in any which way that you can, because like I touched on before, I think the only positive I've seen at Newcastle over the recent months is Caldalo's fucking positive COVID test. That is the absolutely top and bottom of it. But yeah, looking forward to discussing it with Kyle on the podcast over the course of the weekend. I'm back in my normal surroundings very, very shortly. In the meantime, try to forget that shower shit. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I won't be watching Match of the Day. Take it easy, take care, and I'll speak to you later.